or the high end GPUs existed back then,
Yeah.
we would have seen a Cortana that because she was always a rather busty character.
Hmm.
Your atypical female stereotype in video games.
Yeah.
Instead of
Well,
having skimpy clothing, she had skimpy code running across her body.
Skippy Matrix code in blue. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and that was all well and good. But now that we've kind of gotten to this point where women can actually look like women in video games, even though they seldom do. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this. It's like I've
You don't
never
like
looked
women
at
looking.
Cortana as a sexual character before. Now I
Yeah.
feel like I have to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I was like thinking about this, right? Like just about like how women are being portrayed in games, and I think it's much as I love the, so to speak, titillating nature of Lara Croft in all of the early Tomb Raider games. Um, she's like the actually poster child for this discussion, I would say. Just watch the trailer for the Tomb Raider reboot that's coming out later this year. That looks fucking incredible, by the way. She looks like a normal woman now, and honestly, I like the way she looks now.
Well,
No,
I
no,
would
no.
say she's normal.
No. She is. I mean, she's relatively busty, but in a realistically proportioned manner.
Yeah,
Is
well,
what
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
just talking about her bust. I mean,
I
I know exactly what you're talking about, and the women that look like the Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider remake are few and far between, my friend.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, in terms of like the hotness, obviously you want to
Yeah,
have
she
hot
is
characters.
much more realistic. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think the irony is also the irony's on the wall in that, and I think that along with what was the recent fighting game that where they toned down the booby physics?
Dead
Dead
or
or
Alive
Alive
5.
5.
And
Yeah,
that's not.
I mean,
that wasn't the case. Remember, I had to
yeah,
issue a
yeah, but
rebuttal.
I know, but I'm saying that like just the fact that that even was a possibility. I mean, and that it was being talked about was that it's a sign of how things seem to be changing within the gaming world, at least a
Right.
bit.
And you're right. They do look much more realistic in Dead or Alive 5 than they did in Dead or Alive 4.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you
don't
can
know where
only
I'm going with that.
well, the only way you'd be able to show women in that ridiculous manner anymore with the current graphics technology or capabilities, I mean, that we have now, you'd have to make it cel shaded. You'd have to make it deliberately cartoonish.
Yeah, I guess.
And I don't know, and I'm not against sexualization of women as long as it's done tastefully. And I would say it's done tastefully. If you're gonna make it ridiculous, make it satire because that's the only way it's tasteful, at least for me. I mean, I can't take a character seriously. Like if the new Lara Croft still had massive tits and was barely wearing anything, I would write the game off. I'd be like, they're not even trying to tell a realistic story here. And granted, I don't even know what the story of the new Tomb Raider is, but I get the sense they're taking a much more gritty, realistic take. I mean, I think that there's no argument coming from anybody about that.
All right, well, here's my issue with that. I have no problem with sex in games. Period. If you want to sexualize
There needs
the
to be
women
more
in
of
your
it.
game, that's fine. I mean, it's your game. You do what you want. It's just the video, or especially video games, have such a bad track record. It's like we've never had the counterpoint. It's always been big tits, big ass, skimpy clothing, thong hanging out of the pants. It's always been that. Whether the character,
Ever since Samus in the first Metroid, yeah, you're right.
yeah, and whether the character called for it or not. I mean, seriously, look at Cortana. Would a military AI actually look like that?
Yeah.
Probably not. There would be soldiers beaten off on deck.
To the AI.
Yeah, to the AI. You couldn't have that. The character doesn't call for that appearance.
It makes
But
no practical sense. You're right.
since it's a video game and we want to cater to teenagers with hard-ons, that's
Just
what you
discovered
get.
them, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying because it does appeal to the lowest common denominator, and it kind of does. It's another contributing factor that holds games back from being potentially considered to be an art form to
Right.
people that
I mean,
don't
even
play
though Congress
games.
already voted on that shit,
It's true,
it's
and I'm glad
still
they
up for
did. But
debate.
it is. Well, in terms of like the philosophical circles, I mean, I think you and I stand at the exact same place on this. But I would say that the fact that again, to bring up the new Lara Croft game, new Tomb Raider game, they are making it a point to try to like tone her down. They want to be more realistic in this. Yeah, she looks hot, but she doesn't look any hotter or unrealistic than, Megan Fox. She probably looks more realistic than Megan Fox, for that matter, when you think about it.
Kind of looks like Megan Fox.
Huh.
Maybe a little Megan
Maybe a
Fox
little bit
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like if you're gonna do it, we just need a wider range, more diversity. We need that
Yeah.
counterpoint to balance, the big tits, big ass. I
Yeah.
have no problem with big tits. Trust me, I have no problem with big tits, big ass in anything, any walk of life.
You almost issued a boycott on a game for not having enough tits and ass, if I recall,
That's
like we were
right.
talking about
Especially,
before.
well,
So
if
yeah.
you set a precedent for tits and ass in your game, and then don't give me tits and ass in the next iteration, I might boycott your shit out of principle.
Yeah, it's true.
But
And it
anyways,
makes a lot of sense. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say also, there's like it does. Video games do kind of need to move away from this because I was thinking of other games that have done this. I know you like to rag on me for liking it, but Heavy Rain was arguably one of the most realistically designed games ever in terms of the character design. I'm not saying the game itself was realistic. I'm saying that the character design was real. I mean, in no other game do you get to play as a fat, like, private detective schlub. I mean, it's rare to play that, and that can feed into the point you were telling me about before. But there's the infamous scene in Heavy Rain where the only female character you play has to take off her clothes, and you don't have to take all of them off, but you have to take off some of them, and she has to be reduced to a sex object at that point. And there you go. I mean, she's supposed to be realistic looking like everybody else in the game, but she's pretty much just a total hottie like any other character in a game, in a very plastic Barbie doll kind of way.
right.
So, and that game, like I said, not only prided itself, but was prided upon for being realistic in its design.
Well, here's the thing. It's going to be a dark day when, and I hope that we don't ever see this, but it'll be a dark day in gaming when we get to the point where you can render things like cellulite and ripples, and games like Heavy Rain are like, we're gonna go for that realistic feel, and you have that moment where the female character starts stripping down and she drops trowel and there's just a dimpled booty and she's jumping into the shower and it's shaking and jiggling and it looks
Stop. Stop.
It's just gonna be
Stop.
terrible, Alex. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna quit.
I love how you called it a dark day, and your voice actually kind of quavered there a little bit. That might have been the audio feed, but I'm gonna chalk it up to you just crying to yourself thinking about this day when it comes.
My soul will die a little, and I'll curl up into the fetal position and be like, "It's over, Johnny. It's over."
I took game over, man. I hope that it happens when you're so old that you couldn't get a boner anyway.
Oh,
Because then it won't even matter.
God willing.
But what was just to close it out? You should bring up that really brilliant episode of Hey Ash, What You Playing that you saw that addresses this essentially.
Oh well, yeah, it was
Brilliant.
yeah. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I'm pretty sure most of you do, but there's a website called Hey Ash, What You Playing, and it's by this guy Anthony Birch and his sister. And he used to work for Destructoid. Now he works for Gearbox. He's a really talented writer, really funny guy. They've been doing, I think they're up to their 4th season now, but they do like 2-3 minute video shorts based around his sister.
One of the best
Ashley.
ones. Yeah, one of the best ones ever was when they were at Gearbox. That one was just great because you get to see Randy Pitchford get kicked in the balls, and it shows how awesome Gearbox really is. So yeah. It's amazing.
And there's a lot of insider stuff there too. It's just it's a really well done show. And in the last episode, they were picking their best game of 2011, and Anthony wanted to pick The Old Republic because how he was able to create his own character and create his own story, and it was very deep, and customization was there. And Ashley's whole point was that Saints Row 3 was the best game because the choices you made matter in Saints Row 3 more than any other game, and then you were actually able to be a fat female or a long gangly nerd with a giant pink afro. And she basically made the point that all these games that are touting their amazing amounts of customization weren't shit because they're all superficial, and you could only be the skinny chick with the big boobs, or the ripped, superhero with huge abs, with six-pack abs and a washboard tummy, whatever. And it was really interesting. They were totally right too. It's Saints Row 3 really does kind of blow those other games away because all your choices do matter, and you can have the choice to be an ugly fat chick if you'd like and do the booty dance naked in the middle of the street, which was awesome. You guys need to watch that video. But yeah, it's as much as developers like to pander and say, hey, we put the choice in your hands. You create the character, you create your story. And BioWare's the most guilty. And you still can't play a fat chick in the Old Republic. You can only play a fat dude. So take that for what you will.
It's true.
But anyways, let's move on to Grand Theft Auto 5.
I'm gonna cry a little. That was very moving.
Were you moved? Did I move you? Did I give you a
little
movement?
Little bit. A bowel movement, but it was a movement.
Nice. You pooed a little.
Pooed a little. Now, it wasn't really a shard. It was more of like a prairie dog, but since I'm sitting, it kind of, it's not really a prairie dog when you're sitting down. It's just, you basically just shit your pants. I shit my pants. Okay, I shit my pants.
That's fantastic. That's the title of this episode. Thank you very much.
I shit my pants.
I was struggling with it too. I was like, what the hell am I going to call this episode? I shit my pants, and there you are. So Grand Theft Auto 5, there was a leak, and basically what happened was, I don't even know.
Do you want me to read?
Alex,
you want me to
please
outline this? Okay.
Yes, could you do this for me?
Well, Joystick reported that Grand Theft Auto 5 is being developed by Rockstar's Edinburgh, Scotland-based Rockstar North studio, and a character animator named Alex O'Dwyer is an employee there. And according to his LinkedIn page and his CV, I'm not sure what CV is because I'm fucking clueless. Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be released this October. It's like his most recent title, and it says, and under the ship title category, it says October 2012. And of course, damage control occurred almost instantaneously after the story got reported, and his CV got pulled down, and Rockstar hasn't commented, and neither has O'Dwyer. So we don't have any confirmation of this, but it's likely that is the targeted window at this point. And
right.
I guess
no official date, but that's sometime in October.
Yeah, a very good point was raised though about probably the unlikelihood of this. I mean, I don't know. It could be. This might not have any bearing, but it's a good point that BioShock Infinite is coming out that same month, and since Take-Two is releasing both those games, it might not be the best idea for them to release them both at the same month and possibly segment the market on both games. But arguably there's a different audience or different audiences for both those games, so it might not be an issue. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I think you're absolutely right. If I would push one, but I would be damned if could figure out. It would have to be a flip of the coin for me because I wouldn't know which one. It's like, which one do you push? I mean, honestly, yeah. I would tend toward pushing Grand Theft Auto. Because BioShock Infinite looks like... I mean, Grand Theft Auto would probably bring in more holiday sales, but BioShock Infinite just looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, BioShock Infinite has been talked about for 2 years now. Like, we've seen the game for 2 years now. I mean, so it's a known quantity. Grand Theft Auto 5, we only have, like, one video for it. But then again... that doesn't mean anything. You don't really have to do much marketing of a Grand Theft Auto game to get it to sell at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if I was looking at it from the business standpoint, I would definitely push a BioShock. To spring 2013.
And I think that we're more likely to see that because if you remember when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, it was in I think it was April of 2008 when originally it was going to come out in October of 2007. So I think that you're probably right. They're going to do that. I don't see it coming out this fall. And, I'm glad, honestly, because BioShock Infinite is, like, the number one game I'm excited for this year so far, and Assassin's Creed 3. I don't need a Grand Theft Auto 5 800 fuck ton elephant in the room, distracting me from those games. I mean, when I
Well,
play a
that's
Grand
what
Theft
you're
Auto
gonna
game,
get, dude. If they have to push one, they're gonna